Hi, everyone. It's Victoria from Adelaide Capital. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Pascal Hamlin, the CEO of Bonterra Resources. For those of you that aren't familiar with Bonterra, they're an advanced stage exploration company operating in the Urban Berry Camp in northeastern Quebec. This is one of the busiest gold camps in the province. Bonterra owns 3 deposits plus the only permitted mill in the region. They're currently in the middle of a substantial drill campaign to provide an update to their 2.1 million ounce resource, which we're going to see later this year. So the last time Pascal joined us in this format was November. There's been a lot that's happened with the company since that time. So I'm going to pass it over to Pascal to walk us through the presentation, provide us an update, and also let us know what they have coming in the next few months. So with that, I'll pass it over to you, Pascal.
Of course, there will be some forward-looking statement this afternoon. I'm still a mining engineer with over 30 years now in the business. So anyway, so Bonterra, we're in the middle of our drill campaign, which began in November. We're targeting 63,000 meters this winter, which we already drilled 33,000 of it up until the end of January. So at the end of February, we're most likely going to be well over 40,000 completed. We have 8 drills in the field. 6 of them are running right now. We drill approximately 10,000 meters a month. The drills are split between the 3 deposits, Gladiator, Berry, and Mulroy. This winter, because of the geography and the land, the majority of the meters are over at Berry. But in the summer month, it's going to be the other way around. This summer, we're planning a lot more meters over at Gladiator. At the same time, this drilling is going to go into a mineral resource update. SLR, or formerly RPA, is doing the resource update. They were awarded the contract before Christmas. So they're on it since early January. Things are progressing well, validating their geology model built by our geologists. And also SLR is going through all the QA/QC right now. The target is to have the resource estimate out before the end of Q2. Immediately following that, we're going to immediately proceed with a PEA. So we can show the value of our assets to the market. SLR is going to do the PEA as well. And the plan is to have that release the end of September, early October. Parallel to all this, we're continuing to advance the permitting process for the mill and the extraction permit for the 3 deposits. So right now, Bonterra, if you look at the enterprise value, it's a significant discount to our peers. We're close to $39, where our peers in the industry in Canada is well over $100. So right now, it's a good time to come in to invest in Bonterra. Like Victoria mentioned already, we have 2.1 million ounces already in the 43-101 that was released in 2019. And since then, we drilled over 100,000 meters, which will be incorporated in the next resource estimate. So when I say we're at about $39, if you look at our peers, there's room for us to go up. So we're gonna work to get there. How we're gonna get there is by executing what we say we're gonna do. 2020, we said we're gonna do the bulk at Mulroy before Christmas, which we did. It was released in December. Right now, we're well advanced in our 63,000 meter drill campaign, and I'm very confident we're going to be able to get the resource out before the end of Q2. The split on the drilling, the 63,000 meter, the bulk of it is in the Urban Berry Camp between Berry and Gladiator. But we have some drilling allocated for regional exploration. We have over 38,000 hectares of land underexplored. Historically, in the past, The geologists in the camp were focusing rightfully on Gladiator, Berry. So, but in this environment, you gotta look for deposit number 4 and number 5. And we know this camp, the Urban Berry camp, is a very young camp, undrilled, and there's gold everywhere. So that's why we're allocating over 10,000 meters for regional drilling. Our capital structure, close to 90 million shares issued. The shareholders, 58% are held by a few. Wexford is the largest shareholder with 18%, with Kirkland Lake and Cap are the second and third largest shareholders. So good support from our shareholders, and we intend to work to make sure that they are satisfied with our effort. The board of directors, in 2020, we made some addition, to increase the our projects are in Quebec, our head office is in Quebec, so it was just normal to have a higher presence of Quebecers on the board of directors. So we added 2 technical members on our team in 2020, Normand Champigny and Jean Rainville, adding to Matthew Apijak, who is from EUHG. Matthew grew up in Waswanipi. It's about 35 kilometers northeast of the Bachelor Mill. So Matthew knows the area very well, and he knows the land user. The other directors are Akiba and Caesar are also consulting for Wexford, and Peter O'Malley is a former banker, and he's an American. So where we're located, again, in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, we're in the northeast portion of the belt, and of course, our deposit are associated with fault system, regional fault. Just like further south, if you look at Val-d'Or, Cadillac, Timmins, Kirkland Lake, they're all associated with fault. So it's the same thing over in the Urban Berry camp. Again, the Bachelor Mill is on the highway. It's 2 kilometers south of the highway, and it's on the power grid. So this mill is 100% owned by us, and it's also permitted for 800 tons a day. Right now, we're in the permitting process to bring that up to 2,400 tons a day. Permitting is progressing very well. We're in the Q&A phase presently with the ministry, so I'm very optimistic to have something out before the end of 2021. And Mulroy deposit is 1 kilometer south of the Bachelor Mill, and it's accessible through the Bachelor Mine workings. We're actually drilling underground at Mulroy. Gladiator and Berry projects are 110 kilometers south of the Bachelor Mill and accessible through a year-round gravel road. This road it's used by the forestry industry for years. It's well maintained. It's used by the haul to haul extra load by the forestry. They use extra width truck, over 100 ton. So for us, it's an ideal situation to be able to haul on those roads because you're not restricted like on pavement if you're hauling on the highway. The Bachelor Mill is the only mill in the entire camp. So this puts us in a unique position. Is when we're going to do right now we're going to do the PEA. Immediately following that, we're going to do the feasibility. But what's going to PEA and feasibility is going to show is that the capex to get those 3 deposits into commercial production. The capex, the capital investment required is not going to be as significant as if you had a deposit with no mill. On top of that, having a mill, having the tilling facility, accelerate your permitting process. As you know, tilling facility is something that society, the government agency are watching closely, rightfully. And ours is already permitted and it's already in place. Right now, we're in the permitting phase to expand it. So to bring it from a 1.5 million tons permit to 8 million tons. And it's using the same area. So it's the environmental impact is a lot less significant than if you put a new tilling facility in the middle of nowhere. And of course, since that mill is on the power grid, the operating cost for a mill like this is a lot less than if you run on diesel generator or liquefied natural gas. So how do we compare with our peers? In green, you see the mines that are still single asset or project companies, and in gray you see the acquisition that were done in the recent years. All of them were closer to $150, $180 per ounces. So having us at $40, there's a lot of like in this M&A environment. You could see that Bonterra has got room to go up. Actually, we did receive an unsolicited offer back in November for $1.60. So, and that offer expired. So that's why it didn't go any further. But it tells you that, the market, there's value for having gold projects in Canada. And if you look at the flagship, Gladiator is very similar to other gold projects in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Recently, Cisco just published a 43-101. You look at the ounces per meter drilled or the ounces per drill hole, we're very comparable to recent deposit or mine that started, like the Lamaque mine here in Val-d'Or. The one difference between our Gladiator deposit and the Windfall or the Lamaque mine is the number of meters. Like we're still less than 200,000 meter drilled so far. So there's room for us to increase, and we're open strike length, we're open north and south, and we're open at depth. Gladiator, we're still drilling shallow hole. So we're not at depth yet, but eventually we will. But right now, we're still defining the strike and defining the depth of the structure. So the Urban Berry Camp, right now we have 2 drills at Berry deposit itself. I'll go in detail a little bit later. We have 1 drill over at Berry drilling the North Zone. We have 1 at Duke option and 1 at Moss. And right now we're getting ready to bring a drill over what we call Coliseum North, which is just east of the Moss deposit. Gladiator itself, this summer, summer 2020 in the fall, we drilled the North Zone mainly. Right now we're testing the depth portion of this sector here, around 900 meters below surface. This summer, we're gonna have 3 drills on barges drilling the east extension of the Gladiator deposit over at the plunge to the east. So, a lot of good stuff. This resource is being updated right now with SLR, with our geologists. So, and that will be also part of the 43-101 in June. In the camp, there's a lot of activities, like we got a drill right now at Duke. So we drilled over what we call Zone 18. It's assay pending, but we have a drill over there. And we drill also what we call the Rivage Zone, which is a zone a few meters north of the Gladiator deposit, maybe 100 meters north in this area here. But this structure here has got a lot of gold intercept that we need to follow up, that we will eventually follow up. But right now our focus is on the Gladiator deposit. But there's a lot more to discover in this camp. The Berry project, in 2020, we focused with, in the center, You'll see in the upcoming press release, you're going to see drill results in the center to the west. It's all expansion drilling or expanding within. Let me explain. Is this sometime you got drilling in the middle or to the north, but not enough, not tight enough in spacing to make the inferred category. So what we're doing is we're putting holes in the middle to bring the distance closer so we can make the infill category. And of course, we have two drills right now drilling to the east of the Barry deposit to expand it at depth. Before Christmas, we had a press release. Last fall, I said we were drilling to the north, and we did. We're going to do some follow-up drilling in the spring and in the summer. It's more prone for summer drilling. Right now, we're focusing on the winter drilling over here to the east, but we're going to go back there to the north. And we know there's new zones between the Masai Fault, the regional fault, and the Barry main zone that we've been drilling for a few years. So there will be more drilling here at Barry North. Morroy, right now we're drilling on level 14. We're drilling the extension of Bachelor and Morroy. We did the bulk sample over here last fall from a level 11. Bachelor Mine is maintained dry, so our people can work from underground. And we have one drill underground. Right now we have another drill on surface focusing on the upper portion of the Morroy deposit. So it's going good. And the infrastructure at Bachelor are in very good shape. The Bachelor mill processed the gold this fall. And right now we're in the cleaning phase of the gold inventory that was left in the mill when we completed the bulk sample. So we're in the cleanup phase right now of in the mill. It's going to be put back on care and maintenance. So it's ready to go when our deposits are the feasibility completed and ready to go into production ramp up. Regionally, there's a lot of other targets that will be followed up, but right now this winter the focus is on the Morroy deposit and to expand the resource for the resource estimate to be released this spring. So, there was a lot of change. If you wonder, why $40? Well, in the last few years, there was a transformation that was required, which we did. It started in 2019. We relocated the office from Vancouver to Val-d'Or to be closer to our projects. We made some addition to the board to represent better the shareholders, in the community where we work. So Akiba and Matthew joined the board in 2019. 2020, we saw some transformation also with the pandemic. The CEO retired to join Kirkland Lake Gold, which is good for us. We have our former CEO within Kirkland Lake. He knows our asset, so he can provide proper guidance to Kirkland Lake Gold. Myself and Cesar were appointed CEO and chairman. There was a few more addition of Normand and Jean this spring, in August. And you saw starting in October, you saw drill results starting to come in from the summer drill campaign. And that's going to continue. It's ongoing. Again, the unsolicited offer that was in November, my appointment as permanent CEO. Now, what we're doing, we got an increased assay lab backlog because of our bulk sample last fall. So what we're doing right now is we're sending assays to an external lab. 100% of our assays, we're sending a bundle of close to 9,000 samples, 9,000 meters that will be sent out to an external assay lab at lab. They're going to do the simple prep here in Val-d'Or and the fire assay atomic absorption over in Saint-Germain-de-Boulay. So that's ongoing, and that's to address that bottleneck that we have in the assay backlog. Also, what we did to address that is we had the third shift on the assay lab, so we increased by 50% our capacity, our internal capacity to process analysis. And right now, we got 30,000 left, 30,000 meter left to drill. We drill about 30,000 meter a month. 30,000 meter was at the end of January. So February was an excellent month. So we should have that number down to close to 20,000 meter. So in summary, we're well located. We're in Quebec. It's one of the best jurisdictions in the world to do mining and exploration activities. We're between two excellent exploration center, Val-d'Or and Chibougamau. So we have access to quality geologists, quality driller. We have all the suppliers within 3 hours of trucking distance from our projects. We've got already 2.1 million ounces already in the 43-101. We have big land package, 38,000 hectares that we will drill, and we will continue to drill. We're going to continue to advance the permitting process, even if it's not on the critical path. The critical path is the PEA feasibility. But once you got the feasibility completed, you want to have, ideally, you got your feasibility completed same time as you got your permit. So that's what we're targeting. To conclude, to be at $40 today, I understand how we got there, but we're not going to stay there. We're going to provide drill results in the next few months. You're going to see results. You're going to see the resource estimate this spring. It's going to be done by an excellent party, SLR, and SGS is going to do the peer reviewing with SLR. So there will be two independent firms working with our geologists to get that resource out. So it will be a top-notch resource statement. So on this, I'd like to thank you for listening, and I'll open the mic for questions.
Thanks, Pascal. That was great. So I do want to remind everyone there's a Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. So if you do have a question, you can just type it in there and we'll get to it. So I want to just start things off by maybe Pascal getting you to clarify. So the drilling. So you have 2.1 million ounce resource already. You're sitting on 100,000 meters. You're continually drilling. So how many meters are we going to expect in total to update the next resource?
It's going to be an additional 130,000 meter, approximately, plus minus, let's say 5,000, but in that range.
And then will all of this drilling be focused on the three deposits, or will there be any of the regional exploration that kind of slips in?
No, the 130, it's above. This is just the three deposit. We drill more than that, but the other meters, I'm not talking about it because it won't be included in the technical report. I believe we got over 30,000 meter in this winter. We're committed to 10,000 meter, which is, I would not call it totally greenfield exploration because we're in the, we know what we're chasing, but it's not the three deposit. For example, Duke between Windfall and Gladiator, Moss between Berry and Windfall, and you got Coliseum North, which is kind of in between Gladiator and Moss, if you drew a line. So the 130,000 meter that I'm talking about is strictly for the three deposit.
Perfect, thank you. So then also, so going into the next resource, I know you can't give us numbers, but in your mind, what would you define as a success that we should be looking for?
To me, the success will be from the PEA. The resource, there will be so many parameters that's going to change between the 2019 and the 2021. I just attended a few meetings with the geology team, and just the cutoff grade itself will change. So Like we're going to have to be careful when you could see a significant increase in the resource, but it's maybe because the cutoff grade was lowered because the gold price went up. So the big success and what I'm looking for is the PA. The PA will show the NPV, will show the value of our assets, you know. The resource, if I get 5 million ounces and only 1 million ounces make it to the PEA because they're mineable, what is it good to have 5 million ounces? You know, and same thing, if I get 3 million ounces, but they're all going into the PEA, you know, I'll take the 3 million. But I'm expecting a higher number than this one because our geologists know where they're drilling, you know, and the focus was on expanding the resource.
And then are you anticipating in development that all 3 mines are going to be developed underground versus open pit?
That's going to be part of this time. We're going to do that assessment. That's when you have to do that. You know, assessing underground versus open pit. If we have an open pit, let's say at Barry Gladiator, we're definitely going to have to look at haulage costs versus putting a mill on site. You know. Because hauling low-grade material over 110 kilometer, I'm not sure if it's a very good idea. But, you know, underground grade material, you know, anything over 4 grams, I tell you, you truck it over to an existing mill. And what could happen also, you could see, that like both Gladiator and Barry goes all the way to surface. They all go to, both of them goes to surface. So of course, there is a portion on surface, you could say, well, it's mineable open pit, but where's the cutoff? Is it 50 meters, 100 meter, 150 meter below surface? That's what the geologists and the engineers will have to determine this spring and this summer. But I would not be surprised if we have both resource in our deposit. You know, we have an open pit resource near surface, and we have underground resource, higher grade resource that are underground mineable. But definitely the geologists could say, no, we're going to leave a crown pillar because it's too much capex to put a mill on site, you know, or the trucking costs will kill the grade of, you know, if you try to mine 1 gram material and then it's all over under 10 kilometers, maybe we're going to leave a crown pillar, mine the underground first, and then the open pit will be looked at the end of life of mine and see if we can ship it to the mill at the end.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to read.
This is going to be all incorporated in the PEA, and that's what the PEA is going to be for. I told the engineers and geologists not to wear blinders, you know, and not just look at underground or just look at open pit, look at everything.
Okay, I want to read a few of the audience questions. So just
I see them too.
Bear with me for a second. So I'm going to start here. So in the upcoming resource estimate update, what would be the likely breakout and changes in inferred expansion drilling and indicated categories infill related?
That's $1,000 question. This is you want to give us the big forward-looking hat, or you know? I think the focus was expanding the resource. So right now we're not focused so much on converting inferred into indicated. So we know it's continuous, you know, like some of our drilling is demonstrating that, but I would say 80% is focusing on expanding and 20% is within, you know. But to put a number on how many ounces will be indicated, how many inferred, I'm not going to go there.
We were hoping you would give us all the info. So I'm just going to move over to talk a little bit about, you mentioned the unsolicited offer. So a question here just saying, you know, rightly so, it was deemed unacceptable. And then what kind of transpired after that? Did you guys make a counteroffer? And if not, what would you guys consider fair?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, Robert. Um, the offer came in on Friday night. So actually, I was barbecuing Friday night, and I got the phone call. And so during the barbecue, I was able to call some of my board members, and we said, "Well, we're going to call a board meeting." So we managed to get the board together on Sunday night. We had our financial advisor already in our data room, so we got them on board too. The legal advisor also. Anyway, we had the meeting Sunday night, and everybody thought it was very uncommon to get an LOI, letter of intent, with an expiry, like the offer was expiring Monday at 4. So it's like 24-hour business day that you got to react, and and you got to sign and say, "Oh, okay, let's sign it," And it was a very restrictive offer. So we had a call with the other party on Monday afternoon, and when we said, "Well, that was not enough time. Could we extend the time, so we can have a proper look at it?" So he said, "Well, I take this as a no," and he hung up. So the offer expired at 4, and it didn't. There was no, it just expired. So there was nothing else after. There was no other communication, nothing.
So I guess a follow-on question to that that we have from somebody else is, do you have any other corporates that are looking at you? So do you guys have an active, data room going, or any color you can give us there?
Yeah, well, in Quebec, in Canada as a whole, there's not that many single asset company or quality deposit right now, like especially like over 2 million ounces. There's not that many of us. So of course we do have a data room, and of course, having a financial advisor, you can guess there's people in that data room. Of course, I won't say who, but yeah, we have CA signed, and we have a data room, and the interested party are, they're taking their time, I guess, kicking tires, we should say.
So this is, I'm going to jump
But
gears. So
we're
this
not
is a
in a
question.
rush. But one thing, Victoria, we're not in a rush for M&A, especially at $16, $20. We know the resource estimate is going to increase our value. We want to go from $40 to $100 to catch up with our peers. Because right now, to us, the board and probably a lot of our shareholders, we're undervalued.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump gears to another kind of area. So if we can talk a little bit more about your mill, and this is a question that we get a lot, actually asking about mill and why it's currently not processing other ore. And so can you maybe just kind of explain to people why that's not the case, and just walk through the permits that are needed and just how all that works, I guess?
Yeah. So for the mill, the Ministry of Environment will look at 2 things: your tilling facility, and the water treatment process you have. So when Bonterra, formerly Metanor, when that mill was in operation, it was a mill 100% dedicated to the Bachelor material. So Bachelor mill is a single asset mill. It's not a custom mill. It requires the permit to process material for others. So, and that's what we're in the process of acquiring, is to be allowed. But right now, today, I cannot process material from others. And I receive calls from others sometime, and I tell them, hey, listen, it's not just me that needs the permit. You need to have a permit also for extraction, So especially like for example, our Barry deposit, we have the extraction permit, but we don't have the processing permit for Barry material. So what do? Well, I need to get the process permit for the Barry material. So that's what I'm working on. Anyone in that circle that you saw, they need to do a full environmental impact study of their extraction site, and then you need to obtain social acceptability, and then us, if you have your permit and I have my processing permit, it's just a commercial agreement after that. But right now we're working on being permitted to do custom milling, and for that you need to be able to process any material. So acid generating, you need to have proper cells for that. So this is a complex process, and we're in it. We're in the Q&A phase with the ministry. It's going very good. So eventually we will be in a position to process material for others.
So just to clarify then, so then once you get your permit for custom milling for the mill, you'll be able to take in any material. It's not a case-by-case basis as long as they have the extraction permits on their end.
Yeah, and myself, I need to demonstrate to the ministry, let's say mine project B. Well, the project B, I'll need to see their metallurgy, their geochemistry, and then I'm going to notify the ministry, okay, can I process this material? And then, so it's a lot quicker because you got your capacity and your tillings, and you're going to tell the ministry how you're going to do it.
Okay. And then while we're on the subject of the mill too, can you just talk about some of the upgrades that are needed for you guys to expand from 800 to 2,400 tons per day?
Of course, and there's two aspects. In the tillings, it's to raise the dikes, the dam surrounding the tilling facility. So it's the same location, except they need to go up higher. In the mill, we need to upgrade the crushing circuit, and on the grinding circuit, we have right now presently we have a rod mill and 3 small ball mill. So what we need to put in to replace that with a larger sag mill and a larger ball mill. And that will get us to 2,400 tons a day. Of course, after the grinding circuit, you got a thickener. So the thickener needs to be made larger, but those are steel tanks. So the bulk of your cost is not there. The bulk of your cost is on the grinding circuit and on the crushing circuit, because you have long lead delivery items. That's where you got your civil, mechanical, your overhead crane, the tanks. It's just leach time. It's to have the proper time for the chemical reaction to dissolve the gold. So it's just big tanks.
Okay, so a follow-up question to that. This just came in from the audience. So what's the rough estimate of CapEx going to be to do this upgrade? Kind of ballpark that you would see, and what kind of financing are you guys going to need to do to the market in order to, get this going? Okay,
that's a good question. And other broadcasts already discussed a little bit. The ballpark range is probably between 150 to 200 million. That's if you go with the full board plan, 2,400 tons a day, all 3 projects all at once, and 150 to 200, that includes definition drilling to bring infill resource into indicated category, and it also includes the corporate cost for the construction period. So it's everything. Also, you got other scenarios where you could say, okay, we're going to run the mill at 800 tons a day at first, for 2 or 3 years. Depending, that's what we're going to do in the PA. Maybe we run the mill at 800 tons a day, because it's not because you have the permit to bring it up to 24 that you proceed right away with construction. Because underground mines takes times to ramp up production. So you could run a mill at 800 tons a day for a few months, maybe even 18 months. I don't know. That's what the PA is going to do. So, but there's also scenarios where you could phase in your capital. You know what I mean? And then use some of your cash flow to support your capex. But I would say the maximum is 200 million Canadian.
Okay, so then another question from the audience. So just leading into that. So when do you think your next capital raise will be necessary? So do you have enough cash right now to kind of get you there, or are you going to need to raise to continue drilling, or how do you envision that playing out?
Okay, up until feasibility, it's going to be equity. We're not going to go into debt in 2021 or even early 2022. I'm not open for that. I don't want to jeopardize the assets. So it's going to be equity. Now, it's going to be based on opportunities. You know, if someone approach us and wants to, you know, like I see it's a quality potential shareholder and he wants to come in, I know I'm going to need capital dollar to bring this 2.1 million ounces up to maybe 3 or 4 million and then into commercial productions. I know I need equity dollars, and I'm not going to wait till we're on the last $500,000. You know, so it's going to be depending on the opportunities. But yes, there will be additional capital raise.
Okay, and then you don't have any debt currently in your capital structure at all?
No, just regular payables, 45 days payable with our suppliers. That's it.
Okay. And then shifting gears one more time, we have a few questions just going back to the drilling. So you've had a backlog at your assay lab. However, you've added that third shift. So when can shareholders expect to see more news with more drill results coming out?
Well, typically every exploration company makes sure they have their some results before PDAC. So I would not expect anything different this year, even if it's online. But,
stacking your booth.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but like our lab is issuing results pretty well every day. So it's a question right now. You know, it's the geologists who prepare the drill, like the press release. You know, the technical aspect, and they're also very busy doing a drill campaign, and they're also very busy working with SLR and SGS on the geology model. So, but at the same time, you got to let the market know, give a progress update to the market. So. It's a balancing act between the three, you know. So, and there will be drill results. And, you know, if you look at our historical trend, we're probably due for one very soon.
Someone's saying thank you. You made them laugh. So, and then also, so how deep are you going to go? So you mentioned that you're still drilling pretty close to surface. But what's the plan to get, you know, further underground within the three deposits?
There's a balance. Eventually, you want to start going underground and drill from underground to save. That's the reason you develop underground, is you don't want to drill everything from surface, especially Gladiator, where you know you're to have the good drill angle at Gladiator, half of the drilling has to be done on the water, on the lake. So it's the optimal periods from after the fish, the spawning season, you know, up until mid-June. So you start usually mid-June up until the end of October. That's your best drilling season for this part of Canada. We're not far enough north. We tried last winter. it's very tough to get proper thickness on the ice. You spend money like crazy, like December, January, February. You got full crew there 24/7 building ice, and you drill for 3 weeks in March, you know? So it's better to go underground and drill from underground year round. So yeah, there will be deep holes, but while you drill deep holes, yeah, you drill from you develop to underground. But right now, I would say we still have a good year of near surface hole. When I say near surface, 600 meters, because we're already underground, so we're drilling down to 800 meters. But buried Gladiator, we're still fairly shallow. So I would say maybe 2022, you're going to start seeing deep holes.
Okay, so that's the end of the audience Q&A. I do have one more question that I just wanted to ask before we wrap up. So you mentioned some of, the regional exploration targets that you guys have been drilling, Moss, Duke, and I think there were a few others. Which one are you most excited about? So if we see a news release with that title in the headline, when should we really be paying attention?
Well, I like Moss. I like Moss. It's very interesting. And Duke, between Windfall and Gladiator, there will be. I think we could have a few surprises there.
Okay, so we'll be watching for Moss and Duke.
Yeah.
Everyone take note. So that is it for audience questions. But just before I pass it back to you, Pascal, for final words, I do just want to say, this is a company that at Adelaide Capital, we're really behind. We don't think there's many opportunities to get exposure to a company that has such a significant resource established already, such a big land position in a really up and coming camp with lots of drill results coming and moving towards a new resource, owns the only infrastructure in the region that's already 2/3 through its permitting process at the valuation that you can buy Bonterra at. So we're big supporters. And Pascal, thanks so much for taking the time to sit and update us today. So if you have any final words, and then we can leave it at that.
Well, thank you, Victoria. Final word, well, stay healthy, everyone. One thing up north, the COVID is we have strict guidelines in place. Everything is going good. We're going to keep it that way, so we can deliver on meters. We're in the middle of our 63,000 meter drill campaign. It's going very well. You're going to see a flow of drill results coming in, especially with that bulk of close to 10,000 samples sent to an external lab. So you're going to see results coming, and you're going to see the resource estimate in the spring before the end of June with the PEA this fall. And we believe that we'll see a re-rating of our stock with the execution of that plan. And of course, in parallel to that, you're going to see the mill permitting progressing. All right. So anyway, thanks again, Victoria, and we'll be at PDAC. So if anyone wants to question our geologists, we're all going to be there at the Core Shack. So I welcome everyone to come and visit us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. And thanks everyone for joining.